welcome to our Plugs Community Connection. I am your host, DJ Kitty Cat, with my sister co-host, Miss Morningstar on WKRA 92.7 FM The Change. If you're looking for the best in news, current events, community outreach programs, and shopping connections, you've come to the right place. We've got a great mix of content and community connections lined up for you this evening, along with special guest interviews. So, grab your favorite drink of choice, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Plugs, the Community Connection. I'm here. This is DJ Kitty. I'm here with my co-host, Miss Morningstar. Go ahead and come off mute, Miss Morningstar. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Kitty. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. It's our first official show. So excited. I'm beyond excited. And let's have a great show. So let's start with this evening's affirmations. We want to bring you guys a positive affirmation every evening so that we are assured that you know that we're going to be okay. Go ahead, Miss Morningstar.
That's right. And tonight's affirmation is called Confidence and Self-Love. I am full of energy and optimism. I am ready to find joy. Today is the day for change. I can overcome negative thoughts and situations. I choose positive. I have been given many talents. Today, I will use them. I possess the qualities I need to be successful. I am worth it. I will be present. I will be positive. I am courageous and I stand up for myself. Today, I am thankful for new experiences.
That's awesome. And that's what we want you guys to feel and take away every evening, every morning. Know that we will be okay. I'd like to also welcome Mr. Mack to the show. He's in here. He's being the great, host that he can be. And we also have Ali Gold in the studio with us. We're going to go ahead and switch over to the weather. So we have a national weather advisory hitting all southern states. So we're talking Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. The storm is named Enzo, E-N-Z-O. And we just want everyone to be safe and secure out there. Make sure that you are protecting your pets, your plants, your pipes, and yourselves. If you don't have to get out in this weather, please don't. I have a concern about those who use space heaters. If you're going to use a space heater, please make sure that there's nothing around that space heater. No persons, people, or things. And also drip your pipes and just try and stay warm, stay out of this weather, and make sure that, you take the precautions that you need in order to stay safe in this environment. Hopefully it won't last long, but it's weather, and we don't control the weather, so please stay safe.
Let me ask you, if you don't mind. Frostbite is real, guys. So please do everything, follow those instructions, take care of yourself, and make sure that you if you go out, put on extra layers. Just make sure you're safe. Safety is always. And if you don't have to go out, like Kitty said, stay indoors. That was it, Kitty.
Absolutely. I know all of our cities are experiencing some sort of weather. And I know in California, they experienced the fires and they're still experiencing that. And it's a time to try and rebuild, and for the community to come together and help those who are in need. And it's tough for all of us, but it's really tough for those who are experiencing it firsthand. So let's keep those who are affected in our prayers and understand that, this can happen to any of us. So it's imperative that we stay of course, we stay safe. We stay indoors, especially during these winter months. Now I'd like to do a quick, let's say, service announcement. You're listening to Our Plugs, the community connection on WKRA, The Change. I would like to go into what Our Plugs is and what we do and what we're bringing to the community, what we're trying to bring. So Our Plugs was created right after the election. Right after the election, we decided that, we've got to do something. We can't sit on our hands and wait out these next 4 years with nothing. Michelle Obama, our good sister Michelle Obama, she said, do something. And so my team and I, we got together and we created Our Plugs. Our Plugs is a Black and minority community-focused directory. We are focused on helping our communities. We are focused on bringing small businesses the traffic that they need in order to stay afloat. We're also an organization where we are looking for mentorship to help those youth who don't see, if you look at the climate today, they don't see a positive image of what's going on in America. Some of them. We're also working with different nonprofits. We have a great sister. Her name is Powerful Black Woman. And she has a nonprofit that she's worked on for years. And she has supported her community for years. And I'm extremely proud to know her and call her my sister because she's doing the work. And it's something that she does because she has a passion and a love for people and servicing people. And that's what we need. Now more than any other time, we need the opportunity to have those people in our lives to help us navigate through what's next. What else? We've got community leaders who we are trying to reach out and collaborate with, as we did with the Mac Man Morning Show. We have collaborated to bring awareness to what we as a people can do. We are here for the long run. We're here to make sure that although things may look and seem bleak at times, that we still have each other and we have the opportunity to be together and work through all of the disconnect that we may encounter over the next few years and for years to come, because we're here to service our communities. And that's what it's about. Miss Morningstar, come on in. Do you have anything you want to add?
Absolutely. You know what? You said it all. Our Plugs is definitely a way of how we're going to connect back to our community. It is long overdue. I know a lot of us have had the idea, but we are now taking it full force on, putting our feet on the ground, 10 toes deep, as we like to say. And we're doing the groundwork, and you have to start somewhere. And Our Plugs is definitely a beginning. It's not a complete answer, but it's definitely a beginning. And we would love to have as many as possible join our team. So make sure you guys look at the banner. If you're looking at this on YouTube, we'll go ahead and register at ourplugs.com. Or if you're listening on the radio, go to www.ourplugs.com. Go ahead and register. You can register as a general user. It's absolutely free. Or if you have a business, go ahead and plug yourself in. $10, $20, $30 memberships. Go ahead and plug in. Connect to the community, guys. But that's all I wanted to say, Kitty.
Thank you so much, Ms. Morningstar. And you're absolutely correct. It is time for us to connect, and that is the reason why we're here. We're here to connect the community. We're here to not just sit back and not do nothing. We are here to make sure that what we need most in all of our communities is someone who's going to be here for those who are in need, especially when it comes to our children, the unhoused, our elderly. We have got to be that strong force to say, you know what? Lean on us. What can we do as a community to make sure that we're okay? I know that this new administration, they have a lot of things that they plan on doing, which we all know it's a little scary. It's a lot scary. But as long as we have each other and we have some sort of avenue where we can work and try and build something better than what we have now, we'll be okay. The problem comes into play when we do nothing. So we don't have the option of doing nothing. We only have the option of working together. Mr.
Absolutely.
Mack and Aligo, did you guys want to join in the conversation? Did you guys want to
Let me bring them in to
go ahead, bring them
both
on
of them
in?
in. Good evening,
Let's see.
gentlemen.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
sir.
can.
Okay. Good evening. Well, congratulations to you, uh, DJ Kitty Cat, and to Miss Morning Star on your inaugural. I hate to use that word now, but I had to. Inaugural broadcast here, and I'm just here as a support to you. But more than anything, there's a vision that I had no idea. I had half of it, and Kitty, I guess you had the other half, and we put it together in a partnership and came together and say, let's go to work together and let's make this happen. Use the tools that we have at our disposal, the media, um, just getting out there, just doing the things that we need to do. We're on a mission. Yes, we are a business. Surely we are. But then we, as business people, got to support each other in whatever realms that we have. There's enough of us in our community that we can come together and we can make something really happen. Somebody would say something the other day. I'm sorry. And I'm going to just say this real quick. There were here in most urban cities, you have territories or what they call neighborhoods that people come from. And the sense of community that those neighborhoods had, we had a butcher, we knew who the dentist was, we knew who the doctor was, we knew the insurance man, we knew the baker, we knew the tailor, we knew the dry cleaners. We knew all of these people because this was our economy. We knew where to get our suits from on Easter. We knew what to, we knew how to support each other in our communities, the neighborhood restaurant, Greasy Spoon, so forth and so on. Or, and I see that it's vanishing with I don't know it, I don't like to even call it urban renewal, but it's something that just wiped out just neighborhoods. The way that they put the uh, interstates together, they go right through our communities and neighborhoods and break up whole communities and neighborhoods, and people are scattered about. But I believe with our plugs, when I heard about this, um, I was amazed. I said to myself, this will work. So you can't work with everybody. Okay. Y'all, can I get a witness? Anybody? Can I get a witness? You can't work with everybody. I don't care what nobody say. You can't work with anybody, any and everybody. There's selected people that are waiting just to be able to work with you. And I'm just glad that we not only are working together, but we're in partnership, and that means something to me that we have vested interest in each other's success. Say it again for the people on the other side. Vested interest. I have a vested interest in the success of this partnership. That means that there's no two ends burning against the middle or whatever they call it. We're working together for one common goal to set as we do what we do in our various organizations. And you can work together. People don't want to work together no more. Something's wrong with that. Forgive me, I talk for a living. I ain't gonna talk too much longer. But I just wanted to just say, we have something. We're a team with Miss Morningstar and with Miss Jack and all everybody that's coming together, Oligo, everybody that's coming to the table. This is unique. This is wonderful, and I just can't wait to see what you all are going to be doing in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. I agree. I agree. And thank you so much for the opportunity for us to get out here and have this platform so that we can spread our knowledge and have a voice, especially now. Ali Gold, is there anything you'd like to mention or bring to the table?
Hey, what's going on? Congrats, 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 congrats.
It might be.
All around the table.
Hey,
All around the
Ali.
table. Yes.
I can hear him.
Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Yes, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats to everybody all around the table. Mr. Mack, appreciate the opportunity for allowing us to put our ideas along with your platform to push the thing forward. I want to remind everybody, share this live out. Make sure that you're subscribed and turn on the notification also, right? On our plugs and also the Macman Morning Show. Turn those notifications on so when it goes live, you get a notification. When there's a video that's posted, you get a notification. Anything that happens, you get a notification. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. Make sure you share it with others, right? Because we're going to build this platform and this message, and we're going to push it out forward. And we got a lot of people that are invested and they want to see the success of this idea, right? The idea is to make sure that the availability of minority-owned businesses are available for people who need it, and not just go and spend it with somebody else that don't care about your community, right? So coming up, you'll see a lot of the explanation and the details and the training and the tutoring and the mentoring that happens, because we gotta each one teach one, right? So that's the bottom line. But listen, if you haven't subscribed to our plugs LLC, go ahead and subscribe, turn on the notification. If you haven't subscribed to the Macman Morning Show, go ahead and do that, turn on the notifications. All right. And you can find us also on TikTok, on other platforms. Search for us, right? We're going to make sure that we have those platforms in our bio on YouTube. So go ahead and make sure that you stick around, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. And if you're listening after this recording, welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Mr. Mack and Ms. Morningstar. Let's go ahead and go to commercial break. We'll be right back. We've got so much more, and we've got our special guest.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC takes custom to a whole new level. You are guaranteed to find a gift for that special someone, or even a customized gift for yourself. So head on over to my Etsy shop, Sparkle Kicks LLC, and start your personalized order today. I'll be waiting to hear from you. Have a great day.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and jump
I
this
like
off.
those commercials. I like the commercials.
Thank you,
Wait,
Mr.
can you
Mack.
hear me?
Thank you, Mr. Mack.
I like those. I like
I
the
can-
commercials. I like the commercials. We playing all the commercials on the Macman Morning
That's
Show. I'm sorry, I had to just claw in. Cause see, Ms. Morningstar, you ain't right. You know you ain't right. Neither are you, Miss Sparkle Shoes, and to the great organizations that you. I'm just happy. Ooh, this is okay. Shut up, James. Go ahead, Miss Kitty.
All right. We're going to go ahead and bring in our guest. I don't want to leave Zeus in the staging area. We're going to go ahead and bring him on as we do our tribute to the great Dr. Martin Luther King. Happy birthday, Dr. King. This man has paved the way. First, let me say this. Welcome, Zeus. Welcome. Thank you for taking out time of your busy schedule to come and be our first guest on our Plugs, the Community Connection. We're going to jump right into the show. So, we're going to talk about Martin Luther King and what he has done over the years that has made him just a great leader. He is the example of where we all should strive to be. He gave us all the opportunity. He showed us what true leadership meant. It didn't mean being aggravated and being belligerent. What it meant was trying to get a understanding with a nation of people who did not see us as equals. And in doing so, he has accomplished so much over the years, or he did accomplish so much over the years. And to his demise, he left a legacy for us to follow in his footsteps. I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Morningstar give you guys some statistics and some information that I love hearing. It never gets old. Go ahead, Miss Morningstar.
It never gets old. Welcome, Zeus. Welcome to our show. Thank you for coming. So let's start with Dr. Martin Luther King's kind of like a timeline of his life. He was born on January 15th, 1929. He is a Capricorn. Ding, 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 ding. We're Capricorns in here, so it's a lot of us in here. So shout out to all my Capricorns. He was born Michael Luther King Jr., and he was later renamed to Martin by his mother, Alberta King, and his father, Michael Luther King. He, in 1948, he graduated from Morehouse College, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, with a bachelor's degree. 1951, he graduated from Crozer Theology Seminary in Chester, PA. I didn't know that information until I learned that today. In June of 1953, he then married the love of his life, Coretta Scott, and they produced 4 beautiful children in that wedlock. 1954 is when he moved to Montgomery, Alabama to preach at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. 55, that's a great year as well. King finished his PhD. I say it's a great year. It's the year my parents were born. He finished his PhD in systematic theology. And that's also when the bus movement started, when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat. Y'all remember that. In 56, he was arrested for driving 30 miles in a 25-mile zone. His house was bombed just a few days later. So they had some really hatred for Dr. King, who was absolutely just preaching positivity. And in 57, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was formed, and King was its first president during that time. Interesting timeline. And there's more to share, but DJ Kitty, I'm gonna pass it to you regarding any additional things to share regarding Dr. King.
Well, I know for according to this timeline in 58, he wrote his first book, Stride Towards Freedom, and we're still striding to this very day. To this very day, we are still walking the same path in hopes that we one day can have and have the opportunity of just being us without the extra burden of having to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And I say that to my sisters, as a Black woman in America, we carry a pretty large weight, However, Dr. King and Coretta Scott they gave us the first example for me, outside of my parents, of course, on how and what we needed to do in order for us to survive. They took on so much with the bombing of their homes, being pulled over. Talk about, policing. I'm quite sure they had so many stories of the injustice that the police department did for them to them, all because of the color of their skin. And it's disheartening, but yet we survive. They did the ultimate sacrifice. Dr. King, he sacrificed his life, unfortunately. And we all know that if you speak out, you're actually taking a risk of someone coming to do you harm. However, we are not in the position to sit back and do nothing any longer. We're no longer in the position to just sit back and take it. We can't. We see what sitting back and thinking that eventually the country will come around has gotten us. We see what happened today, and it's heartbreaking. However, the people have spoken, and so we must accept it, although he will never, ever be anyone that I call a president. And this is my personal beliefs, and it doesn't reflect the radio station, but this is what I believe. He's not my president. President Biden, Obama, JFK, they were presidential. Carter, presidential. And Martin Luther King sacrificed so that we were able to get as far as we have thus far. If he didn't sit in and he didn't organize, where would we be today? That's how I feel like that we're doing with our plugs. If we don't do this and sit in and organize, where will our children be? That's the question. So let's go ahead and speak with our special guest, Zeus. If you want to come off mute, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to hear and see you. A little background about Zeus. He is one of the top TikTok political creators out there. He comes with a wealth of knowledge, and he deals with some pretty strange characters daily, Monday through Friday, on his TikTok platform. I wanted to speak with him first because he pretty much put the battery pack in my back when I first saw him and said, hey, we've got to get active. I've got to pay attention. I can no longer just sit back. Welcome, Zeus.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can hear you.
Okay. Well, thank you, DJ Kitty. Hey, Miss Morningstar. How are you doing?
Good evening.
And hello to all the others. I don't think we formally met, but Mr. Mac and I can't see where I can't Aligo. Okay, yeah, I can't see it for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Aligo. Okay. All right. Yeah. How are y'all doing today on Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
We're celebrating.
Nice. Well, it's an honor to be here, and congrats, on getting the show going. More blessings to come for sure.
Absolutely, Zeus. So we wanted to bring you on because I know during this political season, you have gotten on your platform many, many mornings to speak with all of us. And you've brought us the news and you've kept us abreast of what's really going on as far as politically. What's your feeling, your take on today?
Well, my take on today is kind of, I guess, sticking to the theme with MLK, right? From the way I look at MLK and leaders like him, they didn't have really, role models or anyone to look up to in terms of like how to engage in your government and how to do it in a way that goes about getting real change, right? So I believe where we're at right now is we just have to keep kind of standing on the shoulders of others, right? Like that's how board change needs to continue to happen. And where we're at right now is the recognition, in my opinion, that we really can't take any days off. I take weekends off, right? But even when I'm not on TikTok, you should always be looking to learn as much as you can about like what's going on in our current world, what's going on in the country, talking to your elders and getting knowledge from them about like what things used to be like, so that you can have the right frame of mind as you continue to stand on the shoulders of giants before you. And so, you know, it's tempted right now. It's very tempting to get down and out and get depressed. But I often think like, you know, what if MLK did that, right? Would he have been the person he was, the force to reckon with, right? And so sometimes I feel like, you know, maybe I should just kind of not do it. But then I understand like where I'm at right now and where we are, it's probably not as difficult as others before us. And so, yeah, it's difficult, but we have the tools and we have the knowledge, we have the network, we have the people, the community to help us keep going forward and, you know, create opportunities, not just for ourselves, but those behind us.
Absolutely. I agree with you. 1000%, Zeus. We have the opportunity and we can't let this opportunity pass us by. It's up to us as the next generation, quote unquote, to take the realm and show those that are coming up behind us that all is not lost. Yes, we took a devastating blow in November. It was eye-opening to the fact that this will affect so many people on so many levels. And it scares me that so many people don't understand that. When you look at their plans, when you look at what they plan to do, it's heartbreaking. To take food away from children, no free lunch, free breakfast. You'd prefer for kids to be hungry. To do away with DEI because you don't want diversity. Why not? Why is it that everything that can serve the community, they are wanting to pull back? Well, while they're wanting to pull that back, this is the only opportunity we have. And there are other organizations that are doing things similar to our plugs. I implore everyone, get involved locally, get involved with your local elections, because elections have consequences, as we see. Get involved with your schools. Go to those school board meetings. Maybe a little too late, but hopefully we can have some sort of normalcy, quote unquote, for our children. And they are the ones that's going to suffer the most, our children and our elders. It's up to us to make sure that they're okay and that they can weather the storm. You know, a winter storm coming today, it's very fitting. It's very telling as well. Miss Morningstar, would you like to add anything, hon?
Well, Zeus, I appreciate you for coming here today to speak to us. You're one of my favorite TikTok hosts because you lead by example with reaching across the aisle. And just reading these things today about Dr. King, that's exactly what he did. He reached across the aisle because he wanted to connect and he wanted to integrate with others to make it equality, to focus on equality. So I see what you're doing. I see you getting up daily and pushing that narrative every day. And we really appreciate you. I know a lot of us have different approaches, but you are steadfast and you definitely set the tone and carry the load for us and set the example in a way of Dr. Martin Luther King. So you should be very proud of that because we do look up to you and appreciate you for that. I guess, Kitty, did you want to go ahead and get into some questions for Zeus? Because I don't want to hold up his whole night, but
I would. I know we're a little early, but
yeah,
I do have some questions. But I also we are. But I think it's just nerves. It's our first show, so we're just moving through it. But we're okay. We're okay.
Can I add a word? So because I learned the word today.
Absolutely,
right? So
go ahead,
The word of the day is kakistocracy. Kakistocracy. It is a government by the least suitable or competent citizen of the state. Kakistocracy, right? When we have a government that's
So
ran by the least suitable and the least competent, it is called a kakistocracy. KAKISTORCRACY. Kakistocracy.
I'm gonna need that on a
Sure.
shirt because that's definitely where we're at right now. I'm gonna need that on a shirt,
That's
and only those who
I like
understand
that.
will understand.
Yes.
Go ahead, Miss
And
Morning.
if you don't understand, that's gonna force you to open up the dictionary or open up that dictionary in your hand and go ahead and research it. As my boy Zeus always tried to tell you, got a whole dictionary in your hand.
But let me ask
Go
him
ahead.
this again. I want to say something. I had to, I had to jump into this one. Say that word one more time. Come on, Ali, go one more time. So, because I got to remember this tomorrow morning, and y'all know me. If I don't get the proper sheet, I gotta. But say it again for me. I had to replay the tape tonight or something. Say it again. It's a
Kakis,
what I call it. Who?
kakistocracy. We're now in a kakistocracy.
Kakistocracy, like
Yes,
I'm just
khaki.
gonna record. I'm just no. I'm
kakistocracy.
gonna just record. I'm gonna just take his recording of his voice and hit it like on the board, and it says, and I'm gonna say be doo, and then you're gonna say what? How to
Kakistocracy.
go?
We're in
Yeah,
a
amen to that. See, I ain't gotta go through all of that there. Go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry.
Well, you hit it right on the head, Aligo. That is definitely where we're at. If nothing else, these next 4 years will give us plenty of content on social media because today alone, I haven't even looked because I've been busy preparing for tonight, but my phone has been going off with all these notifications, and all I can do is shake my head and say, I'm going to take me a hot bath and I'm going to get me a nice drink and I'm going to read through and just shake my head because I already know the crazy has already begun. But we knew it was coming. We tried to warn them, but I'm going to say this, and my brother, I'm going to always use this, and I'm waiting on you to come out with a clothing line that says "Lake of Fire," because if you don't get your souls right, that's where you're gonna end up going. You're
Oh my God.
gonna go.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Now wait a minute. Now see, I already was ready to buy it
You have
and
no idea.
everything, and you
Say
talking about some fire and lake of fire. That Lord have mercy, help us all.
Mhm.
Help us all.
Lake of Fire. Lake of
They gotta
Fire.
go. They gotta
Yes.
go there.
So
They gotta
Zeus
go.
tells when Zeus is when Zeus is battling on TikTok, not battle, but he's discussing on TikTok with a certain group of people,
Hold on, kid.
he tells them,
Preaching the gospel. That's Zeus tongue. Preaching the
preaching the
gospel.
gospel. Yes. Let me, Zeus, go on and say it, Zeus. Go on and give us just a little bit. Give the airways just a little bit of how you get them right on together.
What do you mean, like when I have to go ahead and cast the demon out of them? And then
Yes,
That's right.
demon.
well, it's really a last minute kind of resort thing that I figured out I had to do, and I felt like it just escalated the more and more I ended up having to talk to these people, right? The ones that are in that cult. And it's like, okay, well, how can you get your point across to them without necessarily stooping to their level, right? And so we all know what the lake of fire is, and so when they start doing whatever it is that they're doing, right? If they're lying, if they're out there being a bunch of hypocrites, you know what I mean, being nasty people, I was always taught love the person, hate the sin, so to speak. And so I can really try to laser focus in on what the sin is, so to speak, for those of you who are religious and think about it in terms of the Bible. I can look at what the sins are and then kind of okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say, hey, you might be a nice person, but when you allow the devil to use you, right? you know, that's grounds for Lake of Fire. And so, you know, I got my sound effects going, and you see what I do, right? I mean, you just take what they give you and add it into the mix, and then you just throw them into the Lake of Fire.
My favorite part.
Yes. My favorite part, the Lake of Fire. If you've never had an opportunity to see Zeus in action, Zeus, go ahead and drop the times that you come on in the morning.
Yeah, I come online on TikTok at 3 Crossing Radio, and it's the number 3 REE Crossing Radio. That's my TikTok handle, and I come on live at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday.
That's right.
And I'm usually
show.
off without about
If
I'm
you've
usually
ever-
off in about 2 hours. I'm sorry, I forgot to add that. I try not to hang out too long online because you know, behind the scenes you got to, you know, pay attention to what's going on.
And what we're going to do is we'll add your social media stuff in the comments once the live is over, once the show is over.
All right.
So
thank you.
We want you to go follow Zeus, right? If you haven't been following Zeus, go ahead and follow Zeus. We'll add his information in the description in the comments, so you could be able to find him easily. Just one click and follow. All right, and when you get over there, just tell him, hey, you found him here on our plug show. All right.
Yes, and thank you so much, Zeus. It's a lot that he brings to the table. He reminds us daily. Not only does he remind us daily of what's going on politically, but Zeus, you actually remind me that I don't have to curse them out. You really do. When I feel the need, when I feel the need to go left field, I kind of pull back and I'm like, Zeus might see this. Let me not curse them out.
Well, you know, you got to give my mom and dad credit for that. You got to give them credit for that, because when I first started having the conversations about politics, it would be a situation with them where they would be like, well, you know, I can't, you know, share that with, you know, people in their circles, right? I mean, at first they didn't even want to share it because, you know, it's totally charged, right? We hit them pretty hard, right? And a lot of people there might not be used to us saying it that direct. So I feel like us talking that clear and being direct is already kind of like pushing the envelope, and there's no reason to add the curse words in there, because then they'll use that as a way to say, oh, we should just totally discredit them, right?
Yes, you're right.
And so I like it when you're able to just be very direct, and, you know, if it shocks their minds, good, you know, but you got to keep it clean.
Yes, keep it clean. And you've taught me that you can say what you want to say without having to go left field. But I'm going to tell you, Zeus, there have been some times that I have been in the chat and you have had some people, and if it weren't for the fact that I don't want to have to buy a new phone, I would have threw my phone up against the wall, because my goodness, but I've calmed down, and I just take a look and I just say, Zeus is going to throw him in the lake of fire. And I will either way. I will share this. I have a 6-year-old grandson, and one morning he heard Zeus playing over the summer. And he heard Zeus say Lake of Fire, and we have used Lake of Fire in this household ever since. That is the ultimate threat, and he understands Lake of Fire. He understands that. He wants, you know, he's watched Zeus over the time, and he's just like, you know, Zeus is the man, because, you know, you get them to a level where they have to understand, and then it stumps them, and then they admit it to themselves, but they don't want to say it out loud, and then they get belligerent, and that's when you put them on mute. And my favorite part is when you break out the violin music, and then you throw them in the lake of fire.
Yeah, right. You got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it fresh. Yeah, and what I say is, and I say it at the end of the show, right? It's really about being exciting. I mean, entertaining, engaging, and educational. 3 E's, so to speak. You know, and it's just, you know, you're out here, you're talking to people, and right now, it's like, yeah, we talk politics initially, but I think a lot of the issues going on, they definitely go way beyond politics. And so that's kind of why I think politics is just kind of like the door to what the real issues are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
Because once we know where you are politically, right, then we can start addressing all of these other issues that we might pick up on, whether it's, the racism and, the misogyny, the xenophobia and stuff like that, right? They won't out, people don't come right out and just say, I'm that, right? I'm racist or, I'm a misogynist, right? They don't come out and say it like that, but, through their rhetoric, through their actions and stuff like that, you'll be able to pick it apart.
Exactly. And we have fun with it, and we listen and we tune in, but it's still an educational moment because you're learning exactly what is going on. And I love the fact that you're bringing us the news of what happened. You stay on top of what's going on. And we really need that. I myself personally, I don't watch mainstream media simply because I don't want to. I don't like to be fed lies. I come to certain creators for my news, and I know that as soon as I click on you, I'm going to find out what happened, and get on. Trump supporters, get your knee pads ready. So
that is so hilarious. Journey. Yeah,
it's
the truth.
I got on because I was initially on TikTok just to do music and stuff like that. I think I shared that with you. But you start to realize what your gift is, right? The more and more you start talking to people. So, even though we didn't necessarily get the outcomes that we wanted, I would honestly say the community that we've built wouldn't have happened without all of that. And so I see the silver lining in it that way. And, 4 years, I honestly think, it's not going to be as difficult as I thought it would be in terms of the first time around. A lot of it was a surprise, right?
Yeah.
And so it was just like relentlessly going just from one level of extreme to the next. But at this point, I think a lot of us are like, you know what? They're saying FAFO, right? And so that's the theme right now. And it's like, if you got a way to get away from whatever is going on, you're going to see it coming and you're going to get out of the way. But, if you're out here, you still are getting caught off guard, you're still believing in the things that, this person is promising you, then, you're going to wake up eventually. And, like I say, you're going to lift up your eyes in hell.
Yeah, pretty much. Looking up and fire all around you, not realizing that, we told them, we warned them, we almost begged, listen to us about the Heritage Foundation, and they wouldn't listen. And there's so many people with buyer's remorse now. And, I can only give them thoughts and prayers at this moment.
Yeah.
I can only give thoughts and prayers and focus on our community, because our community is what's going to be affected and impacted most. So the hell that you thought you were digging for us because you couldn't elect a Black woman, a woman of color, is the same hell that you will live in, because, you will have to live with your choices. And I can buy eggs. I've been able to buy eggs all my adult life. I never had a problem buying eggs.
Oh my gosh.
I can, put gas in my car. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And we have a community where we're building this community where we can lean on each other, and we can take those courses that we need, and we can help people get certified, and we can help people get employment, and we can show our youth and mentor our youth. We are organizing so that we can be okay, and we have each other. While you voting for that showed us all how selfish you are. I hope you can eat that selfishness, because I figure you're going to be a little hungry. You're going to be a little hungry.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about it is I also think that if I could be critical a little bit of the Democratic Party, is this was a bit of a culture issue, right? And I think that, one of the things when you pointed out Martin Luther King, right? I do recognize how important it is to also be impactful when it comes to the culture. And I think that that might be the lesson going forward. We got to keep in mind, right? How do you get out here and really, be a force where people, say, okay, that's something I want to be a part of. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's our homework while we're sitting here kind of, licking our wounds, so to speak, right? But I think that's our homework, right? How do we take the losses like any other championship team and get better in the off season, all right, and make it a situation where we have the ability to actually change the culture in this country for the best, right?
Absolutely.
And I think it's possible. I think it's possible, but it will take being able to see beyond what's currently in front of us and kind of keeping that bigger picture in mind.
You're absolutely correct, Zeus. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us collectively coming together, because not one person has all the answers. But if we all can come together and think tank it through and experience and welcome other ideas and not shoot them down, but let's work together to make it happen. It can happen. Yeah. Let me share this with you guys before we go to break. So once Mr. Mack called me and gave me the opportunity to go ahead and bring our plugs over to join him and collaborate, and I can never thank him enough for this. Once he gave me that opportunity, I thought to myself, okay, well, how do I put this together? And of course, I leaned on my sister and my brother, Ali Gold, and my sister, Miss Morningstar, my sister, Miss Jack, Powerful Black. I leaned on my team, but I went to Zeus. And let me tell you something about my brother, Zeus. I hit him up and said, hey, Zeus, I'm doing a show. I need some music, and I know he does music. And you guys, the track that he sent to me, he sent me 2 tracks. I love them both. Miss Morningstar and I went back and forth because we couldn't decide which one we wanted to use. But it's in our intro, and you guys will hear it in our outro when we leave out. He's a musical genius. And he had said earlier, I'm at the age, I won't be on stage. But like I told him, you never know what God has in store for you, because that gift of creating something like that on a whim within hours, not days, not weeks. He sent it over to me in a few hours, and I'm so impressed by that. I can never thank you enough, Zeus.
No, don't worry. You're fine. It's just, things come natural when you practice it for a long time. It's just automatic. But anything that I can do to help support, folks like yourself, to me, it's a blessing, right? Because you just never know how things that you put out like that will actually come back. And that's how I was raised. So you're more than welcome. And hopefully it makes you just as happy as it may be in terms of being able to help you out.
And let me add, Zeus's information to his TikTok is in the description. I updated it live, and it updated while I was watching on my other screen. So if you look in the description, it's there, and I also put it in the chat. So if you want to, it's going to be permanently on this stream, this video. Once the live ends, it's still going to be there. But
all right.
Go ahead and go to the description. If you can't find it in the chat, you should be able to find it. But if you come back, you'll also be able to see it, because the chat won't be there once this video is posted. You'll see Zeus's information in the description. So go ahead and follow Zeus, and make sure that you consume and participate in his community, right? Don't be selfish. We appreciate you.
Amen. And Ali, before we actually go to break, can I just say, make sure we'll give, when we come back from break, we'll say it live, because we do have listeners that are not watching on YouTube. We have listeners that are listening on the radio. So we'll say it loud for you guys to get the information.
All right. And we'll spell it out too.
Absolutely. You're listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7, the change. We will be right back after this commercial break. You guys stand by.
Hey guys. Welcome to A World That Sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC takes custom to a whole new level. You are guaranteed to find a gift for that special someone or even a customized gift for yourself. So head on over to my Etsy shop, Sparkle Kicks LLC, and start your personalized order today. I'll be waiting to hear from you. Have a great day.
And we are back. So those three beautiful ladies, those commercials, those are members of our plugs. We've got Sparkle Kicks. We've got Boutique for the Stars. We've got Carter's Caring Hands. And if you'd like to include your commercial during our program, please reach out to our plugs and let us know. We'd love to feature you. We'd love to have your information out here as well. We are making a difference. We are doing what we need to do. And with that being said, oh, it looks like we lost Zeus. Let's see if we can get him back. Hold on. You guys, go ahead and take it over, Miss Morningstar. We can go back into speaking on Dr. King. Let me see if I can get Zeus back on.
Absolutely, guys. So yeah, Zeus, wealth of knowledge, guys. As you can see, we definitely are champions of his and what he does and what he has brought to our attention, being creators on TikTok. And we all are aware of the debacleness happening within TikTok at the present time. They took it away, then they brought it back, and just self-awareness, guys. Just follow the trail. Think about, what happened maybe about a year or two ago. Who was against TikTok at the moment? Who wanted to rid of TikTok? And then think about what transitioned during that period and where we are today. So be aware. Be aware. TikTok has been a platform which absolutely connected us. Where we're able to have these discussions and these debates. It's simply amazing. So we definitely are appreciative of TikTok for that particular reason, where we can communicate, where we were able to actually tether together for this community. Looks like Zeus was almost back in, but he'll be back. And just to touch back on Dr. Martin Luther King and his accomplishments, he was an author. He delivered a famous speech. You guys remember the I Have a Dream speech, which reached over 250,000 supporters that attended. Amazing work. Amazing work. So let's keep it going. I see we got Zeus back. Zeus, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. I misread that. Okay, I'm so sorry, but I'm back.
It's all good. So we have a few questions that we wanted to go through with you. So from your point of view, where does America stand on the global stage?
Well, depending on what happens, I think right now we have a credibility issue possibly looming in terms of what our allies think of us. I'm watching right now. I see that there's been some executive orders that were made, pulling us out of the Paris Climate Accord, declaring a national emergency at our border. So I think that's going to, make our allies at least maybe question how much they can rely on us. That's something. There's obviously the conflict going on in Ukraine and whatnot. I think that's going to be a big issue in terms of from what I understand, I know that the world order is kind of the issue, right? Russia wants to have a bigger presence, China wants to have a bigger presence, and then obviously, we want to be the top dog. So with all of that going on, I think there is a cloud of uncertainty going on. But at the same time, there could be some successes in this, right? Depending on how those in office right now that are in charge govern. That's the nicest way I could put it.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
Mhm.
It's pretty tough when you sit back and think about, how far we've come
Mm-hmm.
just to have to go back and start over. And it's going to be an interesting 4 years. All I can say is everyone just stay the course, try and stay prepared, because you never know what we're going to wake up to. And that, I think that is what bothered me the most his first term. It was always something every single day. It was we
Yeah.
never got a break. We never got a
Yeah.
break. And then the pandemic happened, and although it was horrible, that was a horrible time in American history. At least we were indoors and with our families. And I took that opportunity to pour back into myself and start my businesses, and really got back to family. And that's what it's about. When it's tough like this, it's best to step back and understand that if you can't control it, the best thing that you can do is control yourself and your surroundings. So
Right.
that's where we're at.
Right.
Okay. So, based on what you're witnessing, how do you see the temperature of America right now?
Well, there's going to be, as far as I'm concerned, I've been saying it, right? I don't want it to happen, but I'm telling people there's going to be the 1929 style depression coming, just because the policies that he's implementing, right? From what I understand, they are inflationary, even though right now he's signing executive orders saying, I'm going to bring the price down or whatnot. So I think what I see happening is, to your point earlier about just the utter chaos, there's going to be that. And I think there's going to be some of us out here who are kind of going to be like, well, we kind of knew this was coming. And, we kind of got these things in play, these things in motion to help kind of mitigate some of the harm it could cause. Right. But then I do believe there's going to be a lot of people, especially people who voted for him, who are going to be caught off guard. And it's going to be very, very nasty. Whether it's their prices of their groceries aren't really going to come down. The prices of whatever it costs to live isn't really going to come down. And they're going to start to understand that, a lot of the promises that were made are a lot harder to pull off, considering that, even though he's kind of like the president, he doesn't run every federal agency at that level, from the top all the way down. There's a lot of things that happen in between that just might make it take longer for things that he's trying to do to happen, or they just might not ever happen. Right. So to me, the temperature is, right now, I think there's happiness on his side, and I think on those of us who are kind of looking at this, lots of concern. But I do think as time keeps going forward, eventually people are going to start to kind of see what's really going on and recognize that this person just might not have been the right choice.
Yeah. It's a little late to recognize it now, but I think that they may actually see that maybe, just maybe, they shouldn't have voted for him.
Well, we all know what took place the day after the election. What was the most Googled? What was the most Googled word? How can I change my vote?
Yeah.
What is a tariff? Things you would have thought people would have researched and found out prior to the election. But Zeus, I want to ask you this, and I know this is kind of quirky because 1 minute TikTok is gone, the next minute we got TikTok back. So
Mhm.
we're kind of like at a crossroad with TikTok, you know, where we don't know what they're gonna do and what is gonna be the next step. But my question for you is, where are you going after TikTok? I mean, if there's an expiration date, where will you be at?
So far, it's YouTube, uh, Instagram, Blue Sky, and X. I've tried some of the other ones like Red Note and Bigo Live and Favorited, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? That's a lot of work, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm not really
Yeah.
trying,
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to put that much effort into having multiple platforms that like right now I'm just extremely busy outside of TikTok.
Right.
Quiet as it is kept, I like to tell people I do have a life
Yeah.
off of this app,
Yeah.
I don't mind giving what I can when I'm on, but outside of that, it's really not to me that serious. So just those apps, right? IG, YouTube, X, and Blue Sky.
Cool.
Well,
Cool.
But if you hear of anything that's worth my time that allows me to, get out and, cook like the way I do on TikTok,
Mhm.
I say go for it. The thing about it is, TikTok, they figured something out. I can't deny it. They figured something out. And I do know that right now they're leaning towards Donald Trump, but I just think most social media companies are going to lean towards whoever is sitting in office, right? That's just how it goes. And so, you know,
I'll give you this nugget, and you can hold on to this as he
mhm.
develops fan base. Just keep him in the loop. He's a young brother, Isaac Hayes. I'm pretty sure you know who he is, and he's a new developer. And I believe that he's going to create some programs that are going to be valuable to us that we can utilize in the
Okay.
near future. So just keep an eye out on that. Keep that option
Okay,
open.
keep it open. Yeah, let me
You
know.
know, hey, we gotta
Said
we
Isaac
gotta
Hayes,
support
huh?
each other. That's what Isaac Hayes. He's
Mm.
actually the son of the singer Isaac
Oh,
Hayes.
okay.
So
he's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
grandson.
Okay, he's the
oh,
He's
one
a
that wrote.
grandson.
grandson. Okay,
Yes.
he's the grandson. Yeah. So yes, let's keep him keep his name in the air.
Okay.
Also, my last question for you, Zeus, and I'm not gonna hold you. What have you learned from all these shenanigans of TikTok? What is the most important thing you've learned through this journey?
Um, first of all, when you put yourself out on the internet, always kind of remember you're 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 representing all of the things you believe in, right? And so it's going to be situations when you're online, especially when you're talking to people who don't necessarily agree with you, or you're going to be dealing with people who you might believe agree with you, but they might be lying and plotting for your demise, right? You just got to stick to your standards, hold yourself to a certain standard, and just stay true to yourself at the end of the day. And you won't know everything starting off, but if you keep going at it, eventually you'll figure out, what your voice is, what worked for you, and what doesn't work for you, and then you just got to keep practicing doing that and getting better and better. And in terms of the shenanigans, it's kind of like there's a lot of people that I've ran into, and then I don't even see them anymore, right? And so you got to keep
Yeah.
that in mind. Some people, it's short term, others they got a longer path, right? And so you just got to make sure whatever's going on, like I said, stay true to yourself, and opportunities eventually pop up, and you'll be able to know what to do once that happens. Try not to take it to heart, right? I got a song, Time's Up, and that song I said, you let them comments get to you when it gets dark, right? But and I'm mocking people that honestly let the comments
Mhm.
get to them. I'm like, yeah, there was a moment on this app, especially like when you're first getting started. I had maybe one or two people in the room, and these are people you end up getting real close to because the lives are small. And then after, you even give them your number, and you guys are communicating and whatnot. But things get real personal real fast when they're like the lives are a lot smaller. And I just remember every time I had a live, right after I'd be arguing with people, right? And these are people I genuinely cared about. But then as the community got bigger and bigger, it became increasingly more challenging to like really dive deep into everybody's personal situation. And so some of those relationships I don't have anymore, but even if we had a little bit of a disagreement, there's that mutual understanding and respect where they're like, yeah, I get it. You had a lot on your plate. And so I've learned from all of that to just kind of don't be afraid to set boundaries and try to keep it as professional as possible when you're on the internet. Cause it is a job for some people. Like I treat it like a job. I know other people get out there and they're like, oh, I'm out here dating. I just want to have fun. I'm like, yeah, I don't have that. So I try not to do that as much. You know, if I know they're out there dating or, you know, just playing around, I try to not really be in those kind of spaces. Nothing against them, but I think I've been through enough. So I know it's a long answer, but I hope that made sense.
No, it
makes perfect sense. Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and just don't never be afraid to see others who are creating. And if you see like something that I'm doing, and you feel like, oh, I want to try that, it might work. Go for it. You know, and eventually make it your own. I learned that just by watching others, you know, all the other greats.
Yeah, I agree with you, Zeus. It's easy to, you know, sit back and watch and form relationships. You know, I know over this past year, I've formed several relationships with some wonderful people who I consider family at this point, because we talk every single day, and we've been talking every single day for over a year. Even on the weekends, even when we're not on TikTok, we are having that open line of that dialogue. But I have learned to, not everyone wants to see your successes, and not everyone is there. So, you know, you weed it out, but for the most part, you know, we as a whole, as a company, we're so busy moving forward and trying to gain traction and push our narrative and our agenda and our mission out to these communities. You know, I don't personally have time to play, you know. You know, so it's a double-edged sword. You know, some people use TikTok to play. Some people use TikTok as a job. Look at all those creators who would have been, you know, without financial backing if they had kept TikTok down,
right?
Which was all political, whatever. And then we've got some people who just come on here just to, you know, browse or whatever. But I think that we, as far as when it came to politics, that wasn't anything for me to play with. And what I didn't understand most was so many people thought it was just a joke. You know, we can laugh about it. Oh, it's not that serious. But we're coming to find out now that they went out there and they cast their vote, and they wouldn't listen as we tried to explain to them what was coming and what he truly is about, because, you know, they'll misconstrue and speak for him. They are in that find out stage, and that find out stage is going to be exactly what they deserve. My motto to all of it is, you get what you get and you don't have a fit. This is what you ask for.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, that's the way it has to be. I mean, that's the way it has to be. And it's like, I think you should feel good knowing you gave it your all, and you tried to be, you know, be as impactful as you could. But there has to be that space for them to grow and learn on their own as well, in order for the message to actually sink in. So the hope is kind of like midterms come, you know, we're in a lot better shape to, you know, navigate this. And again, I also think, you know, this man got very lucky. If you sit back and look at it, I'm going, this guy got out of court cases like you wouldn't believe it. He's dodging, you know, bullets. This guy, he just keeps bouncing back. I mean, okay.
But did he though? I mean,
if this was scripted, I go as far as to think it could have been scripted, and I'm just like, you had one heck of a team writing this thing, because
like
movie.
I mean, they are the best writers. They need some Emmys.
We need them on our plugs, because we need to get we need the juice.
Okay. Okay, because
that's how
my
I look
goodness,
at
they
it.
came up with it.
I'm
Yeah, you're
like
right, Zeus. I mean,
everything, because the way I look at it, and people, and this is so hilarious, but it's serious. I had people on the right after he won. I guess you could see the in my face and my videos that I was making that I just was like I wasn't in it, you know.
yeah,
And I had people on the right coming to me and they're like, "Hey man, listen, you need to, you know, you can't be doing this. Like, we come to you because we want to have the knowledge, we want to have the information. We don't come to you because of, this." So I had to really dig in and get it together and go, okay, I see what's happening now.
yeah,
And then I looked at what happened, and I had to say to myself, like, now, how did Kamala Harris really lose? I mean, I get the misogyny and I get the racism, but after looking at it and just stepping back, I'm like, okay, it was almost like the Democrats were hobbling across the finish line, right? I mean, you had Biden
yeah,
taking too long to make a decision. The debate that he did just really didn't help us. And then towards the tail end, to me, it just seems like, we tried to pull a whole campaign together in 107 days, while this guy, he's been all over the news since the indictment,
He's
you
been
yeah.
know,
campaigning
For
for 4
9 years.
yeah, just,
9.
man,
Let's be clear. For 9
yeah,
years.
yeah.
He never
And
stopped. He
And
never
he's already been president before, right? So you had at the end
right,
of it a former president going up against someone who's never been president,
right, right.
dodging bullets. You know what I mean? I'm like,
But did
some
he
people
though?
don't.
Literally,
They
literally.
if you don't keep up with it like us on TikTok do, and you just talk to people outside that aren't following politics, this guy is looking like some sort of magician. Like, did you see what he just did? You see what he's been through? And I'm out here arguing with these people, and I had to
Hey,
say to myself, like, okay, this is a lot of work. Why I gotta spend this much
Yeah,
time trying to convince you?
no lies detected. Please. No lies detected.
none.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
say this though, Zeus.
mhm,
We saw all the Eargate and all that, and we saw
mhm,
all of the crazy, but all of those who decided that they would still support him are the ones that will be most affected. When you sit back and you look at the
yeah,
numbers don't lie.
right.
You sit back and you look at the demographic, and those demographics don't lie. And for whatever reason, they thought that it would hurt us the
Yeah.
most. Yes, our community will take a hit. No one will scathe through this or get through this unscathed. However,
Mm-hmm.
we are Black people, African Americans. We have always known how to navigate through this system.
Bingo.
We
Bingo.
have always known adversity. This isn't anything new to us.
Mm.
We have always voted for a white man in office until Obama came along.
That's
If
Mm-hmm.
you voted, your options were a white man. So this
right.
doesn't, it hurts us because we knew she was a better candidate. She was better qualified. She's sane and not suffering from whatever. But
Yeah.
they, on the other hand, and I think our good brother Darian, he put
Mhm.
up a statistic, and it's 63% of white people in America are on government assistance food stamps.
Yeah.
So all those times that they were screaming in our chat, welfare queens and EBT queens,
Projection.
they did projection for sure. They
Yeah.
didn't realize that the hell that they were trying to push us in, that lake of fire that they were trying to push us in,
Yeah.
they
That's where they
tripped
going.
and they fell in before we ever even got to the ledge.
Yeah.
Sir, ma'am, we have lived this life all our lives. Get
Mhm.
ready to see what it feels like, because they thought and they think that this man cares about him. You don't have enough zeros behind your name to honestly think that this man cares.
Exactly.
But they do.
Exactly. You know what I
Yeah.
say? Someone told me once about rat poison. You know how it works? It's 1% poison and 99% food. So
Yep.
That's how that works, and I think he did an outstanding job selling that. But if you know what it is, you ain't buying it. But his supporters, they buying it hook, line, and sinker. And so we're at a point now where honestly, we got to work on having an impact with the culture and let his supporters and them do their thing.
Yeah, figure it out. Well, Zeus, I want to thank you so much for joining us. You are always welcome back onto the show. I'm going to talk to Mr. Mack on the back end because, Zeus, you bring the news that we need. And your political aspect on it all. Yes, your political, absolutely. Your political aspect on it all is admirable. It's what we need in a time, especially now. It's what we need in order to get through these next 4 years. So I encourage you, brother, to continue moving forward. Continue, spreading the good word. And when you can, please include the violins before you throw them in the lake of fire. I love it. Thank you, Zeus.
I'll add that. All right. And thank you, everyone. All right, Mr. Mack.
We will see you in the morning.
Morning Star, DJ Kitty. Appreciate all y'all, and hopefully I'll be back. Take care.
We will see you in the morning.
Peace.
All right. We'll see you in the morning, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
Later.
Make sure you go to our plug's description to see Zeus's information for TikTok. If you're on the MacMan Morning Show, you won't be able to see it because I did not edit that description. I only edited our plug. So just go to our plugs and you can click on the link and you can find Zeus's information. You could also click on the link and you could find our plug's TikTok information. So go ahead and follow both those accounts on TikTok. We appreciate that. We appreciate that for real. Thank you, Zeus. Yes. And we'll definitely hear from Zeus again for sure.
Oh yeah, he'll be back. He'll definitely be back. Aliko, we're about to wrap up the show. Are there any last words that you'd like to say to encourage everyone? And I just want to say this really quick. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for listening in. Thank you all for tuning in. Myself and Miss Morningstar, we will bring this news to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. We hope that you continue to come and visit us, share the live, share the YouTube channel with your family and friends. It's all about community. And please go to ourplugs.com and register as a general user, or if you have a business, put your business in there. It's time for our communities to grow. It's time for us to get back to communities and get back to us. Aligo, go ahead and give us your last and final thoughts. Ali, you're on mute.
No, I was moving stuff around, so you caught me when I was in midstream. I'm going to add Morningstar's information also to the description, and also DJ Kitty and mine as well to the description. So if you want to follow us on TikTok, you could go ahead and do that. I'm going to add it after I finish here talking here. But like you said, we appreciate everybody coming through. Keep on supporting the show. Make sure you check out the Man Morning Show as well. And turn on the notifications. If you're not following both YouTube channels, make sure you go ahead and follow those and turn on the notification for them. And also do the same thing on TikTok. This is just the start. The sky is only the floor. All right. This is just the beginning. So we appreciate everybody coming through and look at your situation and see what works best for you and take those actions that are going to prepare you in case there's a hurricane or a storm or a financial disaster, right? So look at your own situation. Everybody's situation is different. You got to prepare it as what's best for you and your family and make sure that you're protected because, the chaos will begin. It is already begun. So once again, appreciate everybody. Salute. And we'll catch you on next time.
Thank you, Ali. Go ahead, Miss Morningstar.
You know what? I am so overwhelmingly excited and I am so thankful and grateful for you guys tuned in. Thank you, listeners at 92.7 The Change, WRK. I appreciate you guys for bringing us on. Thank you, DJ Kitty, for being such an awesome host. Thank you, Mr. Mac, for giving us this opportunity, and all my TikTok friends in the chat. I see y'all. We love y'all. Thank you guys again, and we will see you all on Wednesday for another wonderful show. And you guys have a blessed evening. Thank you.
You are listening to WKRA 92.7 The Change. My name is DJ Kitty Cat. I am the CEO of Our Plugs. This is my family. I am so thankful to each and every one of you for listening in, tuning in, joining on YouTube, taking the time. I can never appreciate you enough. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay warm. There's a lot going on, but we've got each other. And always remember that we're going to be okay. We've got each other. And on that note, we will see you next time.
Like a machine, energy drained from sight. Once we were a team, now just a lonely fight. Static fills our ears, empty sockets in the wall, swimming through our fears, waiting for the call. Our plugs in our dreams, no power, no might. We're shadows unseen in the endless night. Dreams, no power, no might. We're shadows unseen in the endless night. Our plugs in our dreams.